Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the Tea Brief. We're back here to talk about Llandow, which took place last Saturday. Today is Friday, the day of filming. Hopefully it comes out this evening. If it comes out tomorrow, it came out tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. But the point is, we are here for a Tea Brief. However, before we actually get into the Tea Brief, I have good news, because I have finally, today on my day off from work, a rare day off where I'm actually doing absolutely nothing, I have finally sat down to start editing my footage from the SP60 this year. I have edited my stuff for Wilton Mill, and I have a plan for how this will be done. The fact that the video is done, it's processing in the other room, it just needs to be uploaded and then scheduled. The idea is that we've got, now today is the 23rd of September. The Tea Brief will come out either tonight or tomorrow. The SP60 will come out next Friday, so the 30th of September, and then the idea is that every Friday from then up until the end of the season on the 12th of November there will be a round of the SP60. So if I think about it in my head, so we've got the 30th September Wilton Mill, the following week, so the 7th of October will be GYG, 6th of October will be GYG. Wait, am I right? Hang on, am I going mad? No, it'll be the 7th of October. It'll be the 7th of October, GYG. 14th of October will be Bayford. 21st of October will be Lyd. The 28th of October will be Rye House. The first Friday of November will be Llandow, and then the Friday before Buckmore will be Wilton. So then by the next Friday be Buckmore. There we go. It works. There we go. I did it. So that's the plan. That's what I hope can happen. I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that does happen, but you know me, ladies and gentlemen, I make promises on uploading videos and they always fall through. So we'll see what happens, but that is the plan. That is the plan. Wilton 100% will be next Friday. Hopefully we can then stick to the schedule from there on. But that's the future. Let's have a look at the past now and start talking about Llandow, where I took part in the SP60 in the morning and made a return to the Free Swans in the afternoon. So let's start then with the SP60. So going into the day, it was obviously a bit of a sombre day because of the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. That was a very interesting time, so it was all done irrespectfully in her name. In fact, I will show you on the helmet now, because I do still have it on. I got myself a little E2R sticker for Her Majesty. In fact, I'm going to put, you know what? Helmet doesn't really get a chance to shine in these anymore. It just gets put over there, so you can go there, my friend. So yeah, I did that. I had another one on the other side, but I took it off because you couldn't really tell what it was. It was the coat of arms, but it just didn't blend with the helmet very well. So yeah, it was racing with that. And obviously Llandow, last year I did really well in qualifying and loved to show off the lap that I did that got me P5 that day. So you can imagine my embarrassment when I only managed to put it P15. Somewhere of the sort. Yeah, not the best qualifying, not the best kart, it has to be said. So I went into the day, actually, you know what, I think I was P19 in the end, or I was P17. I was P17, ladies and gentlemen, because I was just behind Alex Pritchard, and I walked over and said, like, "Well, we were a bit shit, weren't we?" And that was quite funny. Then we had the chat about moral victory for the day, because he's on the SHW weight, and with the best will in the world, the fact is I was significantly ahead of the remaining SHW, so it was going to be, unless anything went wrong, it would have been a fairly easy run towards victory. So the target was, like, can we beat Alex? So going into the start of the race, I knew that from BUKC experience, I knew that I wanted to be on the left-hand side, but I was on the right. So if an opportunity presented itself to get to the left-hand side, I was going to take it. Lo and behold, the chaps on the left didn't get the best start, and I was able to, as soon as we crossed the line, I was able to dart over to the left and get the line that I wanted for the start of the race. And now this was good. This was good news which was demonstrated by the fact that Alex was on the outside into the double left-hander. He got taken out, and I was able to keep it going, and that was very good. So I was going through the motions. I had Stephen Jennings right in front of me, and I thought, right, this is going all right. And then going into Raymond's, the hairpin at the bottom, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Tim Hill comes steaming full lunge down the inside and completely wipes Stephen out. So close to taking me out as well. I just about survived. I lost the position to two positions to Gerard Moore and Steve Lindley, which was annoying, but at least I survived. So yeah, there we go. If there was going to be a moment to deny me victory from the race from the SP60, that was it. But I survived and went on to have a really good race. My kart was good, and I was back in the 52.8s like the lap that I showed. And yeah, everything just worked. Guys were having fights amongst each other. I was just able to steam down the inside of them. I got a brilliant move in on Zach Cuff around the outside of turn one, had the inside then for the left-hander. That was very satisfying. And then was just I could just see sort of the Ryan Sandals, Carl Walkers of the world further in front of me, but it was still a brilliant race. I came on to finish P8, and really that was the story of race number 2. I had a good kart. So my first kart had a really good engine. Grip was okay. This kart had a fantastic grip, and the engine was okay. So whereas I was quite fast through the corners, I was then losing it down the straight. So I got a really good start in race 2, obviously on the correct side of the grid in my opinion, but very quickly got swamped a bit, lost a couple of positions quite early on. I think I fell down to something like P10 in the end. Got another good move, it's exactly the same move that I did on Zach Cuff. I managed to do it on Carl Walker as well. Outside turn 1, inside for the left-hander, and it stayed like that for a moment. And then all of a sudden, I found myself getting overtaken into the tricky chicane by Mr. Pritchard, which was. At first, I was like, well, okay, that was embarrassing. But then I was like, right, no, okay, let's go have a little battle. Through the whole lap, I stuck right on his arse until the bottom right-hander that led up to the chicane, and I watched him gain about 3/10 on me through one corner, and I was just there like, what the fuck? What was that? How did that happen? It was beautiful to behold, it must be said. Yeah, it was. He just had that corner nailed. I think through his training with Nicky, he's developed a technique that Nicky uses, and it worked for him really well. So that was basically that was the highlight of the race. I spent the rest of the race chasing after Ryan Sandal, and it was just one of those things. If Ryan had started making mistakes or he got flustered, I reckon I would have been onto the back of him, but he didn't. He drove really well, as did the guys behind me as well. There was no unnecessary fighting. We were just looking for any one of us to make a mistake. It was Ryan a little bit out front, then myself, then Kyle, then Steve Lindley, and we were just following each other along. And I would come home to finish 8th, so 2 8th places in a row, 80 points on the board, and another winner's trophy for the year, ladies and gentlemen. Number 5 for the year out of 6. So this season being very successful, it has to be said. It can go up there with its brothers, obviously the GYG, Bayford, Lyd and Rye. Bayford, Lyd, Rye all in a row, and now Llandow as well. So it remains on the calendar. The tracks I am yet to win at are actually the 3 tracks coming up, and Clay Pigeon. So I still haven't won at Wilton, I haven't won at Ello, although I'm not going to be at Ello, I think at all, and Buckmore as well. So hopefully we can put those wrongs to right for the rest of the season. So that's the SP60. Let's now have a look, as I'll just have a quick sip of tea. Still good. Let's have a look at the Endurance. So the Endurance, 3 swans back again, only 2 swans today. or on Saturday I should say, myself and Jasper. Tom is on holiday, as far as I'm aware. I think, don't actually know to be completely honest. But yeah, so me and Jasper, last year at Llandow, we had an absolute stinker, and most of it was my fault. As JV loved to sort of remind us all at the start, he told us about it in the SP60 and reminded us of it in the Endurance after the 2-minute silence for Her Majesty. Yeah, we had a stinker, got so many black flags, most of them were my fault for hitting cones, so going into the day, it was sort of like, right, we need to get some vengeance, but we need to make sure we do this smartly. Now, I know my mate Jasper Chamberlain very well, and I know that when he's on his game, he's very fast, particularly around Llandow. We did it, it happened at the BUKC Drivers' Champs. He got into the super final, he was smashing it, so I thought, right, if we get that Jasper, he needs to qualify. There's no other choice. So I was like, right, I'm going to go out and do qualifying. I'm going to go out and do practice because I've just had 2 really good karts and I can tell, I'll be able to tell if it's a good kart or not. Turned out in practice we had a good kart. So Jasper went out and I was just like, fingers crossed, please be the Jasper I want, not the really hungover Jasper we got last year. It was a Jasper that I wanted, ladies and gentlemen, and we qualified up in P8, so another 8th place, although that turned into P7 when the Dunlop testing team got excluded. So we were 3rd in class, and I was like, this looks good. This is a promising position to be in. Let's see what happens. And what happened was exactly what we wanted to happen, in that Jasper got away well, got a good start in, and we were able to then dictate. We were then able to go long into the first stint, which I think what we really want anyway, because then it allows you, by going long in your first stint, it allows you to basically dictate when you stop for the remainder of the race, and you should really not lose too much in the way of fuel. So that was good. I think we again got ourselves into a position to be leading the race at one point. We had a good little tussle with the Applewood boys, and I've got to give the Applewood guys credit because I had a nice little chat with them over the course of the day. Had a chat about Rich T, had a chat about all things, and then through the race itself, Jasper was right on the back of Alex, and Jasper said to me over the radio, "Is like tell the guys in the pits that I won't fight. I'll push him along." Ran over, told him that, and they were like, right, brilliant, thank you. And so that was a lovely little bit of Premier versus Clubman, what's the word? Sportsmanship, camaraderie is what I'm looking for. And that worked. So you can imagine my embarrassment then when in a couple of laps later I saw Jasper was in front of Alex, which was, I was just there like, no, I told him I said he weren't going to overtake him, and you've done it. I panicked, but I had a chat with Alex afterwards, and it was all good. So yeah, just that was a lovely moment between the Three Swans and Applewood, it must be said. So then yeah, Jasper just carried on his stint. It was obvious he had good pace. We got to the front of our little battle. We were fighting Runtime, Exception Racing and Conman. That was the little three of us that were going for it. Jasper did then take the lead. I did notice though, as I was getting ready to go out myself, that Sergio Vamos were starting to get involved. Their very fast driver, a chap called Goldsmith, or at least I think his name should be Goldsmith, it's on the back of his race suit, he was coming great guns. So it was like, okay, interesting. So when we did the swap over, it was the only mistake we made for the whole race, because we planned everything, we'd got everything down to a T. The GoPro went off without a hitch, thank God. But Jasper forgot that he had his seat insert in there as well. And so I was then just going to drive around with it, and then Jasper said, no, stop, pulled it out, lost about 5 seconds in the end, and that allowed Sergio Vamos to go through, which was a bit like, shit. But then it turned out that they were just so much faster than me. It was ridiculous how much faster they were. And I just went through my stint trying to do the best I could. The kart had lost grip, and I definitely wasn't feeling it as much as I had been through the SP60. And what I've come to realise of the Endurance, and this comment might get me in hot water, but in the Endurance, I'm sorry, backmarkers don't know what they're doing, because you come across a team that are out of it. They're 4 laps down, and you're coming onto the back of them, and they will defend, they will lunge, they will do this, that, the other. It's just like, get out of the way. It was really. I'm sorry. I know that's not necessarily a fair comment, and I'm sure I'm guilty of the same. But it's just when you're lapping someone, it's just like, get out of the way, and it gets you really mad. But got over it. and got past this guy. It was really annoying. But Jasper was in my ear telling me like the gaps to Sergio Ramos in front. It seemed like they were gone. My only hope was that they would do a driver swap and their other driver wouldn't be as fast. That did happen, but he was fast enough. He was on my pace, so it would have been if we'd been closer, might have been interesting. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So the main battle was then making sure we got on the podium. And Jasper was just telling me like J.K. Rowling are coming towards you. Conman are also fast. I was like shit. But we did the pit stop well, and we came out in front of Conman and J.K. Rowling just, and I could feel them bumping me along. And then all of a sudden I heard in my ear we were going to go short for the final stint. Like we came in just as the pit window was about to close, and we were going to go in again just as it opened again. And then just before we did our penultimate pit stop, Jasper just said to me on radio, "Where's Conman gone? Where's J.K. Rowling?" Turns out Conman took J.K. Rowling out. So that was a blessed relief, and I spent my last stint just cruising, chilling, knowing what I was doing. The team in third was catching me, but there was not enough time for him to do so, and we came home to finish in second place, which was a fine return to form after what's been a disappointing year for the Free Swans. Again, I've made my mistakes this year. The radio debacle, crashing in the pit lane at Bayford. It's just not been great. But to get the second place on home turf, because obviously we are the Free Swans, Swansea University lads. Llandow was our local track when we were at uni. To get the podium there was great, and to get vengeance for last year. So I think for the Free Swans, we're going to be doing Wilton and Buckmore, no Ello. So for the first time since like Clay Pigeon 2020, I'm not going to be at a Club 100 round at Ello. It's going to be interesting, but it's also going to be like, you know what? These things happen. Sometimes you just need a little break, and I'll save some nice money as well. So that will be nice. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been your tea brief for Llandow. Obviously, another winner's trophy for the SP60. The championship basically looks wrapped up now. It has to be said, unless something goes horribly wrong. Again, in motorsport, anything can happen, and it usually does. So we have to keep an eye on that. Again, as I mentioned it in the last tea brief, but I think my plan is now obviously win the championship and try and beat my points tally for last year. Last year, my final tally was 553. I believe I'm on 429 when you add in lid, because obviously I've had 2 rounds where I haven't been there. So lid is there are 2 results where there are still drop rounds, but they're going to factor in at the end, because I will have done 8 rounds by the end of it. So 553 is the target. I think I'm going to do it. Can we get a top 10 as well? I hope so. I think 8th overall in the championship is potentially on. So I'm going to do my best at Wilton and Buckmore to make that a reality. But I've rambled on for long enough, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for watching. Do be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so that you know when a new edition of Rich T Racing comes out. And all that's left for me to say for now is ta-ta and farewell. It's still hot. Can't down it this time.